Hi everybody, my name is Hector Hill. I am Git Sen and Jim Sen. Um, my mother's name is Fanny Hill, who is Git Sen, and my father's name is Matthew Hill from Kitkatla. He's Jim Sen, and I speak my mother's language, and I'm from the House of Wisakes.
Awesome. So, what type of work do you do, or have you done?
Um, when I first came here, I didn't know how to read and write, so I had to learn that at age 45. And I learned the ABCs of the church at Street Church on 175 East Hastings Street on Main and Hastings here in Vancouver. That was the first time I ever really read and wrote my full name. And just knowing that, it encouraged me to want to learn, but I had to be clean and sober. I was an alcoholic. I grew up in a environment where alcohol, sexual abuse, fighting, beating was normalized, and it was hard. And people that were around me were on welfare or social assistance. I didn't want to be like that, so I left the village. Came, I traveled the whole of BC to work in odd jobs. Like my first job was a carpenter's helper. The second one was working on the mill in Kitwangang, and then working in the canneries in Port Edward and fishing in Port Edward, and did some uh, a different kind of work just to not to be on welfare. I didn't want that. I know I could work, so I worked. Here in Vancouver, when I learned how to read and write, I, I was in a Bible college. I graduated my Bible college, and I was asked if I wanted to be an ordained minister, and I said no. I have something else that's put in my heart to do and to train for, and that is counseling. And I was told that I could do that in church, but I wanted to get my education. I wanted to learn the Western society's teachings, so that will strengthen my the knowledge and the teachings that I have from the Gitxen, the Gitxen ways of living and knowing. So I put those two together, and that's how I wrote my papers. I had help with my education. You know, right now I work with the UBC, the linguist, elicitation, translating from English to Gitxen or Gitxen to English, and the sounds of it and all that. And when you take a certain letter off, it makes it a different thing, or when you add, it makes it different, meaning different. So, so my work. I'm not working right now because I just finished my master's in education, in administration and leadership, and I'm filling out applications to be through the Indigenous Certification Board of Canada to get certified as a counselor or a teacher. So there's some things that I need to do first before I make a commitment to teaching. But like I said, my education was geared towards counseling. Everything that I've taken has to do with counseling. Everyone has their own ways of learning. Some will be taking their time, they don't understand, or they understand, but the fear and hurt has kept them back, just like what it did to me. Like I said, I didn't know how to read or write until I was 45. The hurt and fears got hold of me, and I try to drown that with alcohol and prescription drugs and suicide. I had to get rid of all that before. Not get rid of it, learn to live with it. I learned to live with it. Now they don't hurt me. Now they don't scare me. I use it as a stepping stone. Every time it comes up, I use it as a stepping stone. That way I will see above what is happening to me.
So having so much experiences and stuff like that, have you traveled or anything? Like, have you been just in BC or?
Yeah, I worked in a couple of years ago, or a few years ago. I worked in Kitunga, the Wolf-Sussex treatment center, and through that, I found out that not everybody has the education in the Western society's education. Everybody has the native side of education. There's a big difference in that. I found that out when I was up there in how they determine if you could be a counselor in certain areas like the treatment center.
Mm.
Here in Vancouver, you have to have your bachelor's or your master's before they hire you.
Mm.
And up north, when I got there, like I showed them all my papers, everything that I've learned. Every certification that I received, I showed that, I gave that to them. And they said, wow, you could run this whole place. And I said, no, I didn't come here to run or to be the boss or whatever. I come to counsel. I want to work with you guys. But until I learned the English and learned how to read and write, it opened other doors for me, a big door. I'm still going through one of them right now, and that is the certification of the Indigenous Certification Board of Canada. And to go and teach, that's another door, or go to be a counselor. But the difference in our ways is that you follow the elders of the community, their teachings, how they did things, what they're doing, how they do things, how they speak to people. And in that is the Kitsan or the native way. Some of that are similar to all the native people. And in the Western society, you are focused on the counseling. You are focused on the ethics, the morals. We also have that, but that is not made to be the number one priority. We have to start understanding the native systems of learning, communicating, facilitating, understanding about the knowledge about love and forgiveness and all these things that go along with being who you are. And as a Gitsen man and Tsimshen man, I have to remember who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and how I'm going to get there. And I can't get there without the help of other people that have been there already or going on the same road as I am. So ask for help.
Mm.
Whether it be in counseling, teaching, communicating. For me, it's this technology. I had to take a look at who I am as a Gitsen man, where they say, Hector, you're doing very well. Local Amtseven, you're doing very good. Local, keep on doing it. These are the words that I use to get myself back into education or get into education.
In terms of society and, like, say, the medicine wheel, for me, the physical realm, what is the right thing to do, or what's going right? Like they talk about apologies and settlements and reconciliation, and like for me, the right thing to do is to get into recovery. Do you think enough of our people are getting on the red road and stuff?
Recovery, I believe it starts into acknowledging who you are. I ask most of the clientele, I said, what do you want to do in your life? Where do you see yourself? Not 5 years, but where do you see yourself tomorrow? What's going on? Are you going to come back in the same situation, what you're in, and you're asking for help? And when somebody tells you and helps you through this day so that you could move to this side and see a little bit better than you did yesterday, but you go back to the same place and ask for help, is that tying you down there? Or you're stuck in there? Or what's holding you down? So in recovery, when I was uh, facilitating the recovery phase of treatment, they all want to be on the other side of abuse, alcohol, drugs, sex, anger, fear. They all want to be on the other side of that and be love, forgiveness, and all this. And I asked them a question: are you dealing with your childhood trauma? Are you dealing with the sexual abuse, with the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual abuse? And how are you doing that? Are you going back to the Kitsan ways or your native ways? Are you going back there and see what was missing from the beginning when you were abused? What did they take from you? Did they take your childhood and made you into an adult before your time? You want to travel on the red road. You have to heal your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. You have to have that harmony and balance. The balance between where you're at and where you're going to go. Are you going to turn this way? One side's going to be too heavy. Why is it too heavy? So you have to work on it to get that balance. What is it that you need to balance in your life? And in harmony, are you connected to yourself, to your family, to the community, to the wider world, and the environment? Are you connected in that? Yeah, so there's about the reconciliation. I don't really believe anything about what the government says about truth and reconciliation. The truth is they can't handle the truth. They haven't done anything with the residential school, the day school, the churches, the educational system. We're still not accepted. The government we're the wards of the government. The Indian Act is still in play, and that's not reconciliation. If we're going to go back to the way we're treated, we're not going to survive because they're going to kill us. It has changed, and there's a lot of things that we should be doing for ourselves to strengthen ourselves, and that is like for number one, education in the Western society. What do they really mean by truth and reconciliation? Can they handle the truth? Can we handle their truth? When we do the conciliation, can I handle their truth? Can they handle my truth? And this reconciliation, where will that take us? We're going backwards. They're going to abuse us. They're going to take everything away like they did before, and they're still doing it. And that is to go back to that old system. To me, that's what it means. Knowing about the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's one of the reasons why I sobered up. Taking care of my physical being, where I never cared about it. I never understood why I wanted to die and to poison it with alcohol and prescription drugs. And when I found out that what I was doing to myself was killing myself, let alone I was just trying to shoot myself, stab myself, and hang myself, drown myself, burn myself, jump in front of buses and cars and all this. And I didn't know I was slowly killing myself in my physical. And when I found that out, I needed to change the way I think, feel, and behave. And that took some time because I was emotional. I was a wreck. No matter what anybody talks about, I cry. I get upset. And the way I think mentally, oh my God, that was sickening the way I was thinking about myself, not about other people. I have no control of people. I have control of me, and the way I presented myself, I was, mentally sick because of the way I was. And then the spirituality, when I found out that I was disconnected with myself, family, community, wider world, and the environment, wow, I just didn't know what to do because how do I reconnect?
Yeah, so the whole reason that we're doing this is, just to capture our stories, individuals' experiences, and how they got to where they're going, and kind of like leaving the message here for future generations. Does it look hopeful for you? Do you think?
Oh yeah. I always want to look up hope. What does hope mean? Yeah, I was asked about that. He says, "What do you think of hope?" And I said, "Oh, just a minute, I'll take a look." Yeah, in most of our ways, we say, "Dum win, you'll do good." Haguli walk softly. Dum win, you'll do great. Yeah. Hope came to me when Linda Loudon came into my life. She believed in me. One day I walked her. She was part of doing her practicum at the street church when I was assistant pastor to Randy. And I never thought about hope. I never thought I had hope. I never thought I had any chance of surviving or learning anything. But when Linda came and said that she wanted to do her practicum at street church, and I said, "No, I don't want to deal with white people or anybody." I said, "I'm okay where I am." And Randy says, "Well, Hector, you're the one that's running the church. We're always going on missions. You have to. She wants to do it here." And I said, "No." And then she looks down at the table and says, "Give me one day, one chance." I said, "Oh, jeez." Didn't know she was there. But I said, "Okay, as long as you don't hug me, touch me." And she says, "Okay." The sounds of our communication, it's significant in who you are. The sound of the way you want people to hear you, it is significant. It is important, not only for me, but for the other person. Because people are watching you. People are listening to you. Whether you know it or not, they are watching. Whether they're good or bad, they're still watching. Whether they're looking for bad things about you, they're still watching. Whether they're looking for good, they're still watching. They're seeing and hearing how you communicate. And it takes one person to believe in you to get to the place where you need to be for yourself. One.
Yeah.
Doesn't the whole family, doesn't take the child or parents or siblings. It takes one person. "I believe in you. You could do this." She said that to me, and I cried all day. Believed in me.
Yeah.
Most of the people forget about the sexual part. They don't want to talk about it because it's bad. The Western society has taught us that sex is bad. that you can't show off with your body, you can't show anything. You can't, a lot of things you can't do in a sexual relationship because people say that's wrong. So I have to reevaluate and take a look and revisit what sex is to the native people, how important it is.
Yeah, so just like to thank you, man, for all the experiences there you've had, and all the teachings and all the knowledge and all the wisdom and stuff, and the stories especially too. Yeah, got a little bit emotional there sometimes, and it's great. Yeah, it's all healing, and yeah, we're all here, not for our own selves, but just to blaze a trail for future generations.
Yeah. Well, if you need another one, we'll do it again. Let me know. Message me. Stories about my childhood and dreams. Well, one thing that we all need to do is believe in ourselves, and also just to accept ourselves just the way we are. We can't. We're not. In my teaching, if I pay attention to everybody else, then I'm missing what I really need to do for me, because there's too many voices, too many the voices, and I can't put it in my heart for me to do something about it with me.